What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today's episode is going to be exciting and a good learning opportunity for all of us. So today I'm starting the intro before we get to where we're shooting. Like I promised you last week, this is going to be fashion oriented and in an actual studio today, not just in the tabletop studio like last weekend. But I thought it'd be a good idea. I have a special project coming up and I wanted to rent a studio like I do typically sometimes before I have a project to make sure the lighting I want to do is concise with the idea I have in mind, and that I have it all pat down, I'm confident what I'm doing, and so when I get there everything kind of goes more seamlessly and just flows along. So I thought it'd be a good idea to do today a video of a few different lighting setups in the studio, which I think this is something that's not very much so covered too much on YouTube, or it's not that easy to find that information, and when you do it's a little bit harder to kind of dismantle per se. But I'm gonna make this fun, interactive, easy, and I have a super dope talent and a personal friend coming on with me today. This is more about like the lighting setups, so I'm not gonna be focusing too much on what I'm actually shooting, but I do think we're gonna get some super sick portraits out of it. And anyways, let's just get into it. Coming at you live from Brooklyn, let's go. When I first moved to New York and I was still interning, I got the opportunity to assist and more so intern a really big fashion photographer, and it was really a great experience, and I'm grateful to him because I'm really not a good assistant at all. I'm a good photographer, but I'm not a good assistant. Every time I was working with him was usually when we were on set, so it was a high stress situation. So the opportunity to really get my hands on and learn and be explained, what this did, what its function was, how it worked, what effect it would have, and how to set up, even things down to a simple stand. What I didn't have the opportunity to hear that or learn that or take that in. And I think that's one of the hardest things about being a self-taught photographer, and one of the only or biggest pros of going to school for photography is that you're able to get your hands on, and really, if anything at all though, is just having the access to it is a major help. Here we are with a special guest for this evening.
Yes sir, what's poppin'?
Yeah, that boy YM, Yvesmark Chery, what it do?
Yes sir.
Okay. okay. So you tell us what your name is and what you do.
Alright, so like our boy said again, my name's Yvesmark Chery, and I'm a fashion model, influencer, and this is what I do.
Nice, yeah, I'm excited for this evening.
Yes sir, we're gonna have a great time.
Okay, here we go. One of the first things we can really take a look at while we watch the setup is really understanding the equipment we're using in the studio. So I would say we'll start by observing the big boards that are on the floor that you see me moving around. There's a white side and a black side. Those are called V flats because you can fold them into a V typically, and they're used to reflect or absorb light. If you put them on the white side, they're typically used to fill in light. If you put the black side, it adds contrast because it absorbs the light. These you'll see are very important in studio setups, and they're typically used a lot. I use them a lot myself. Then you'll see one of the lights I see being used the most, and that I also use most frequently, I would say. And that was gonna be an octobank. You can remember this name because it has 8 points to it, and it's the biggest modifier. This is another typical modifier, and this is called a beauty dish. This is used a lot for beauty. The beauty dish is essentially supposed to beautify and make the image very flattering, make the person very flattering in the face. The stand with an arm kind of sticking out of it is a C stand, and the orange thing hanging off the back is a weight, and that's called a pumpkin usually. The two things on the floor are both umbrellas. The black one on the left is a reflective umbrella on the inside, and usually you would shoot the flash inside and it comes back reflected out. The white umbrella, you shoot the opposite way, just straight through the diffusion material. As I shoot, when I do it in studio, a lot of times I tether, which means that I connect through via cable to to my computer, and you can either power it up with Lightroom or with, what's that other software called that people use a lot? I used to use it back in the day. You know what I'm talking about if you know what it is. I can't recall at the moment, it's on the tip of my tongue, but now I've gone back to using Lightroom. Really, I prefer it. That way when you tether, clients can see what you're shooting, you can see what you're shooting, and all of that good stuff. You know, for a long time in the beginning of my career, I mean, I'm still in the beginning of my career, but in the early stages, I would be like, yo, why would I pay for a studio? Let me just clench onto my P's, and then I can learn once I get jobs in studios. But what I quickly realized, and even going back into when I used to intern and assist as photographer, is that when I'm in the studio, it's typically for a job. So I won't have the chance to experiment or try the things that I want to and learn. So the best is to, you know, pay down the money, find a not too expensive economic studio, but that also has the items you'd like to try, the different modifiers, the different lights, etc. And consider it an investment in yourself and your craft. Pro tip. Also, another pro tip, if you do want to go and get yourself some lights and some modifiers, and you obviously don't want to go as high as a pro photo yet, but you don't want to just go for some Amazon nonsense. Some good brands you could look at, just off the tip of my head, are Godox, Newer with 2 E's, Ellen Chrome, you know, things like that. You can't really go wrong with those types of brands. If you're starting out, any light will do the trick. The important thing is understanding the direction of light and how to control it.
This chain on the back.
Yo.
Oh, it's recorded?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, my bad.
So we just finished up the shoot. Going pretty well. We were just testing things out.
Yes, sir.
Looking into the different light setups as we spoke about earlier. You know, we had a nice time. Yvesmark's going to tell you how he felt today with this experience.
Gabe definitely made me feel comfortable throughout the whole shoot. He was talking, you know, giving me some direction in terms of my movement, things of that nature. And, you know, it was a great time. It's always great shooting with my boy.
Nice. Same. Always great movements. You know, I don't have to say much with this guy. Nice times.
Yes,
make sure to follow, subscribe, leave a comment below. How can we make this better? And let me know who you want to see on the next show, the next guest. Thank you.